うんうんうんうんうん Yeah, please. Welcome. Namo Buddhaya. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me all right? We're having some audio issues earlier. Is this better now? Can I get a thumbs up? Okay. Great. Thank you very much. Um, so, welcome all to this is our regular Sunday Sutta Study program, but it's also a special day for International Bhikkhuni Day. This is the 15th annual International Bhikkhuni Day on the September full moon. It's the founding anniversary of the Bhikkhuni Sangha, 2,609 years ago under this full moon. And so we're celebrating with several events this year. You know, last night we gathered here in person in the sala for a lovely program together. This morning we had a theme, guided meditation. Theme of our International Bhikkhuni Day this year is walking in the footsteps of the Bhikkhuni Arahants. So we actually did some walking meditation this morning, which was nice. And we'll be continuing that theme today with our Sutta study focused on the Bhikkhuni Arahants and their stories. And then on Tuesday evening, we'll have a online-only program that is more sort of educational advocacy, talking about the history and current situation of the Bhikkhuni Sangha for inspiration, for sharing and community. So we'll have our main event on Tuesday evening from 6 to 9 p.m. California time. And welcome all of you, any of you, to come at that time. For now, we can go ahead with our Sutta study. We'll be focusing on the Bhikkhuni Samyutta today. But as our normal protocol, we'll start with just 10 minutes of quiet meditation together as people continue to arrive and just to settle into the space, to this time. So we'll sit in silence for about 10 minutes, and then I will ring a bell. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Ratanataya. Good afternoon, everyone, again. And welcome, my respects especially to our Venerable Bhikkhuni Sangha members. Aya Brahmavara, happy to see you once again, and all friends joining here. I am Bhikkhuni Kachayana. I have here two of my colleagues who are just off camera. Maybe they'll say a few words later, I hope. I'm here with Venerable Jutindara and Venerable Aweyara and some other friends here in the sala at Dhammadharini Monastery. I hope you can hear me okay. We're having some audio issues, but okay, seems like all right for now. You missed the part where I tried to bring you out of the meditation 5 minutes earlier, and you didn't hear me. So anyway, we've resolved it for now. How about those in the sala? Can you hear me okay? Would it be helpful to have the... You're good? Okay. So yes, the dukkha of audiovisual technology. But here we all are. It's also a miracle that we're able to be together in this way. So wonderful. So once again, welcome to our 15th annual International Bhikkhuni Day celebration. This was founded by Alliance for Bhikkhunis in 2011, and Dhammadharini is one place celebrating it. There's other communities also celebrating this around the world. This is the founding anniversary of the Bhikkhuni Sangha, 2609 years ago, and we're celebrating today. And our theme this year for International Bhikkhuni Day is walking in the footsteps of the Bhikkhuni Arahants. So we're having several programs. This morning we actually had a guided walking meditation, reflecting on, just how the Bhikkhunis lived, where they walked, how can we follow them. Venerable Vandana shared about going actually on pilgrimage in India, and in our Tuesday evening online program we'll hear a little bit more about pilgrimage opportunities in India for those who want to literally walk in those footsteps. But also just in terms of the practice of walking meditation, in terms of the practice of our everyday lives as bhikkhunis, how can we walk in those footsteps? How can we, realize what they realized and live in the way that they lived? That's our theme. That's our contemplation for this year's International Bhikkhuni Day. And so, for our Sutta study today, I wanted to read a really wonderful set of suttas from the Samyutta Nikaya. It's the Bhikkhuni Samyutta. So Samyutta Nikaya is the connected discourses or the linked discourses, it's sometimes translated both ways. And the Samyutta Nikaya is a collection of samyuttas. Each samyutta is like a chapter. And within that samyutta, there are a whole group of suttas that have a common theme of some sort. There's something that connects them or links them. So this is the Bhikkhuni Samyutta, and it has the common theme that it's all about bhikkhunis. And specifically, it seems like one particular group of bhikkhunis that was living in Savatthi. This is the city in ancient India where the Buddha spent the majority of his vasas as a teacher. I think, was it 25 years? Yeah, okay, 25 out of his 45 years of teaching, he spent the vasa at Savatthi. So it was a very sort of central place for his teachings and for his sangha, his community. And so we know that there were bhikkhunis living there, that they had a place. And we'll see in these suttas that they would, in the afternoons, they would go out of the city and they would go alone into the dark forest. And these 10 suttas are stories of what they found there when they went to the dark forest alone, what happened to them. Stepping out of Savatthi for their day's abiding. They would go in the afternoon, in the day, and just sit for their meditation in the dark forest and encounter what they encountered there. And we'll see that these actually were arahant bhikkhunis, so they knew how to handle whatever they came up with there. Anyway, let's go to these suttas. There's 10 of them. They're short. And some of them are really very, very deep and inspiring. And So let's just go to them. Let me find them. Where did I put them? My desktop. There we go. Just a moment. Okay. So this is with Alavika Bhikkhuni. At one time, the Buddha was staying near Savatthi, in Jeta's grove, Anathapindika's monastery. Make this a little bigger. Then the nun Alavika robed up in the morning, and taking her robe and bowl, entered Savatthi for alms. She wandered for alms in Savatthi. After the meal, on her return from alms round, she went to the dark forest, seeking seclusion. So, even this, just this, I find so inspiring. Like this is the sort of ideal monastic life. You put your robe on, you go for alms, you have your meal, and then you're done. At least done with the physical, practical kind of work. Then you're free to just go to the forest and do the hard work of meeting your own mind and heart in the forest there. The hard work of meditation, of practice and purification. So she went to the dark forest seeking seclusion. Then Mara the wicked, wanting to make the nun Alavika feel fear, terror, and goosebumps, wanting to make her fall away from seclusion, went up to her and addressed her in verse. So Mara here, he's the trickster. Mara is a word for death. Mara is the being who represents death. And so he comes around. He tries to scare us. He tries to grab us and take us for his own. So that's what he's doing. He's always trying to get people and convince them that they belong to him, that they should do what he says. He wants to scare her. He wants to make her feel fear, terror, and goosebumps. So I like this word goosebumps. This is loma is, if you ever did kesa, loma, naka, danta, tacho, hair of the head, hair of the body, nails, teeth, skin. I don't know if you've ever done that contemplation. That's the first 5 of the 32 parts of the body. Anyway, loma is hair of the body, and hangsa is a swan, a bird. So it's like, yeah. No, I think it's more like, well, if you pluck the feathers of a bird, what's left is those bumps. So it's like swan skin, swan hair over her skin. Anyway, that's a side point, not really a Dhamma point, just something I find interesting etymologically. In my previous career as a linguist, it's like, oh, that's cute. Anyway, just to share that, Mara has come to make her fall away from seclusion. Okay, why does he want her to fall away from seclusion? Any thoughts? Why would he want her to do that?
To don't get distracted.
Right, to get distracted. Okay, how does it help Mara if you get distracted?
Always under his control.
Right, if we're distracted, then we're under his control. Yes, if we're distracted, we're not able to escape death. We're not able to escape the cycle of birth and death. So if you're meditating, Mara hates that. That's when Mara comes and tries to get you, when you're about to escape in some way. So anyway, he goes up to her, addresses her in verse. There's no escape in the world, so what will seclusion do for you? Actually, I shouldn't put my hands in. Actually, this is Mara speaking. Um, there's no escape in the world. So what will seclusion do for you? Enjoy erotic delights. Don't regret it later. So, I mean, people can feel like this, right? That there's not really any way out, so might as well have a good time. A lot of people live their whole lives like this. Like, just have a good time and make it through, and what else are you going to do? There's no way out. This is a very common idea. It's actually unusual to think differently, to think that there is some kind of escape other than that. So, enjoy erotic delights. Kama ratio. Kama is sensual desire. Don't regret it later. So this thought comes to her. He speaks to her. Then the non-alavika thought, who's speaking this verse? A human or a non-human? So that's sort of an interesting thing. Often when we think that, we don't stop to interrogate who is it who's telling us this. It seems like our own voice, our own heart, saying, oh, there's no way out. Just have a good time. But she stops to think, where is this coming from? Where is this thought coming from? Then she thought, this is Mara the wicked, wanting to make me feel fear, terror, and goosebumps, wanting to make me fall away from seclusion. So she's been practicing a while. She's probably gotten to know Mara a little bit already. She can recognize when it's him who's whispering this. Then Alavika, knowing that this was Mara the wicked, replied to him in verse. There is an escape in the world, and I've personally experienced it with wisdom. O wicked one, kinsman of the negligent, you don't know that state. Sensual pleasures are like swords and spears. The aggregates are their chopping block. What you call erotic delight is now no delight for me. So, and that's all it takes. Then Mara the wicked, thinking, the non-alavika knows me, miserable and sad, vanished right there. That's it. She just had to say this, and he's gone. But you have to think about, like, what did it take for her to be able to say this and understand this? There is an escape in the world, and I've personally experienced it with wisdom. That's an amazing thing to be able to say. To know that, to know really the sensual pleasures are not a way out, but there is a way out. And so she's declaring her awakening here. She's not an ordinary person. She is an awakened one. She's a realized one. And Mara doesn't know this. Mara is, you kind of have to feel sad for Mara a little bit. This is specifically the thing he does not know, is that there is a way out. He doesn't believe. How about this? Sensual pleasures are like swords and spears. The aggregates are their chopping block. Who wants to explain what the aggregates are? Does everyone know? Is anyone not familiar with the teaching on the aggregates? Okay. The 5 aggregates. Okay, well, let's look at this. So the 5 aggregates are what? What's the first aggregate? Form, the body, or form in general, yes. Second aggregate? Feeling, Vedana. Third aggregate? perception, sanya, fourth aggregate,
Voluntary
yeah. Yeah, different, sankhara is hard to translate. They say mental formations or, yes, voluntary formations.
volitional.
Volitional formations, yeah, that's right. Um, yeah, mental formations. Bhante Sujato uses choices. And the fifth aggregate? Consciousness, vijnana, yes. So these five are, in the Buddha's teaching, sort of what we cling to as a self, what we think makes our self. So it encompasses the body and the mind, or at least most aspects of the mind. And so then the statement, sensual pleasures are like swords and spears. The aggregates are their chopping block. Yeah.
So is it like the self that acts and holds on to it as well?
Can I give you this? And maybe they'll be able to hear online also if you use that. I'm not sure.
So is it like
Close to your mouth.
the self which they are talking about when they are saying the aggregates are the chopping block?
The sense?
Self.
Self.
Because the aggregates itself don't hold much potential. They are just empty, raw.
Mm-hmm.
When the self comes in, then sensual pleasures and everything are subject to be held on.
Right. Okay. I just want to check if those on the line are able to hear when she's using the mic like that. No, not at all. Okay. So, all right. That was an experiment. Yes. All right. She was asking, are the aggregates here representing the self? Because the aggregates themselves are empty and don't hold much. So then how would it be that they're the chopping block? Well, I mean, I guess my idea would be that, the aggregates are like where we meet, how we process these sensual pleasures, right? There's a physical aspect and there's mental aspects to it, so they're like falling on the aggregates, right? The sensual pleasures are coming and then they're getting processed through the aggregates, right? That's how we know them, how we interact with them, how we get attached to them, and
I feel like they're like the medium by which we play out.
yeah. So Satina said they're the medium by which the sensual pleasures come in. Is that yeah? So yeah. I mean, I think someone here was telling me the other day that she stopped listening to music. How long ago? Yeah? When did you stop? About 6 months ago? Uh-huh. Right, stopped listening to music, stopped listening to TV, and then now when encountering a television somewhere, it's so obnoxious, right? Disturbing, yes. And it's like, if you're watching it every day, then you're like clinging it, like it seems pleasant. But then if you sort of take some time away from that, then it's like it's something that's falling on you, that's like sharp and harsh and difficult.
I was gonna say it's like a hammer on your head.
Yes, like a hammer on your head, she says. Exactly. So that's when I read this, I remembered that conversation with you a couple days ago. I was like, oh yeah, that's what we're talking about here. It's like it's being hammered over the head with sensual pleasures. And receiving that through the aggregates, interacting with that through the aggregates in some way. Anyway, she has perceived that. And it's not a delight for her anymore. It's not even difficult for her to say no anymore. Like, this is just not appealing. It's just like being hammered over the head.
Is it like too coarse? Of like a sutta kind of?
It certainly doesn't sound like sukha. The question was, is it too coarse? It doesn't sound pleasant, right? Spears and swords, the aggregates are their chopping block. sounds unpleasant. But it's something that someone could consider pleasant in some time, right? Vedana is impermanent like everything else. It's related to sanya. It's all like bound up together, and something that one person finds pleasant, another can find unpleasant, and vice versa. And so it's like over time through practice, some of these other things just lose their appeal. It's like, why would you want to just be getting hit with that all the time, and like even seeking it out, seeking more, thinking that that's pleasure, when it's not. So anyway, seems like she has experienced that change, that shift in perception, and on a very deep level, she's not going to go back to that, and she's not afraid when anybody tries to pull her back. It's just easy to say no. Doesn't have to be afraid of that. Okay. How about those online? Does anyone like to share anything here, come in with anything here? No? Yes, Venerable Aweda asks about your own experiences with Mara. Okay, Chintana, yes, please.
Okay, I was wondering, how can I stop the feedback?
How can you stop the feedback?
Okay.
Are you talking about the...
Okay, I guess it's not there for you, so I'll continue. I was wondering if where the aggregates are the chopping block, was that anything like where the rubber meets the road?
Right. Well, might be. I think it's like, I hadn't thought of it that way, so let me consider that. But yeah, it's like where the aggregates meet where the sensual pleasures meet the aggregates, that is a place for practice, definitely. That's like where you're engaging with the world and have to practice. You know, for the rubber meets the road. I've heard that analogy, that phrase used before about the 4 right efforts. That in the Eightfold Path, the 4 right efforts are where the rubber meets the road. That's where you really engage the path and move along. This is how our founding Abba Sayadaw Taloka has described it, as like 4 right efforts is where the rubber meets the road. And the 4 right efforts are to abandon what is unskillful, to prevent unskillful things, mental states, from arising if they haven't come yet, to develop skillful mental states, and to, if you already have skillful mental states, to maintain and perfect and develop those further. So it means stepping away from what's unwholesome and developing and what is wholesome, basically, depending on whether it's there or not. And so that's how you get 4. But
Thank you, Venerable.
yeah, so I think there's a relationship there. It's like when these sensual pleasures are being processed through the aggregates, then that's a place to apply your right effort. That's maybe it's, I don't know, maybe that's, is it the rubber or the road? It's like it's one or the other. So I think it's one of them, and then you have to apply the counter so that you can move forward, something like that. I don't know. It's sort of a mixed metaphor, but that's what comes to mind. Satina here in the room, yes.
Maybe for her, the aggregates, if you're saying that they're empty, there's no place for the swords and spears to land. Like they just come in and
Right.
go.
Okay, Satina is saying that for her, she understands the emptiness of the aggregates, so there's no place for those swords and spears to land. Like they just come in and keep going. Yeah. Right. For the Arahant, then, well, she still has aggregates, but no longer clinging to the aggregates. right? The aggregates continue until the time of the breakup of the body. Even for the arahant, they still have a body and feelings and perceptions, and they make choices and they have consciousness. But they no longer cling to those things as a self. So they can't really be hurt anymore by that sort of chopping. Anyway, all right. Well,
I also say like the advocates at the chopping block, as in, even though the sensual pleasures might be falling, but arantas don't cling on to them as self, and that non-self just keep them off.
do you want to come here so the people can hear you? Okay, so she says the sensual pleasures, the arahants don't cling on to them as self anymore. It's just like non-self coming through. Yes. Yes, seems something like that. So we can imagine what is her mind like, and also like, how did she get that way? This is how we try to think. How could we get there? How can we follow her path? Anyway, I'd like to. Is there more comments on this one? We have 9 more bhikkhunis to go.
This also like comes up when she just take a stop and just check on her mind, like whose thought is it?
Right.
That is
Yes.
also kind of a separation. It's not mine. So how is it
Yes.
coming
So this. Come here. Come here. You have a lot to say. Come next to me, and then they'll be able to hear you.
in? So at least there is no think twice.
Okay, inviting Venerable Awayara to join me so that her insights are not lost to you. Could you move the camera? Daniel, you could point it so you can. Let's not lose the Buddha, but let's get Venerable Awayara.
You got her and the Buddha.
Yes, thank you. Okay. So, yes, do you want to say your point again about the her what she thought about Mara?
Like in the verses above, we can see that as soon as these verses are being heard by the non-alavika, she just kind of separates out and see, oh, who is this? Who's speaking this verse? A human or a non-human? Like sometimes some thoughts come into our mind, but we are like, oh, I'm thinking this, and it's just a part of us. But her wisdom can be seen, her practice of non-self can be seen, and how she separates out, oh, let me see, and how not to take it personally. Let it pass.
Sadhu, sadhu. All right. Thank you very much. All right. I think we could move on to the next of our 10 bhikkhunis. All right. With Soma. Once again, they're at Sawati. Then the nun Soma robed up in the morning and taking her bowl and robe entered Sawati for alms. She wandered for alms in Sawati. After the meal, on her return from alms round, she went to the dark forest for the day's meditation, plunged deep into it, and sat at the root of a tree to meditate. So, and sounds beautiful. Then Mara the wicked, wanting to make the nun Soma feel fear, terror, and goosebumps, wanting to make her fall away from immersion. That's samadhi. That's samadhi, concentration, immersion, serenity. Went up to her and addressed her in verse. That state's very challenging. It's for the sages to attain. With her 2-inch wisdom, it's not possible for a woman. So, yeah, well, this is something that people think, right? They think maybe women are in some way not as capable as men. And even for the women themselves, they have this little voice inside sometimes. It's been programmed in that says, I can't do it. Maybe others can, but not women, not me, right? not everybody has this. It depends on the way you're raised, depends on culture, depends on a lot of factors, but there's sort of not uncommon for people to have a sense that, like, maybe men can do it, but I can't. Maybe the men think this too. We can do it, but they can't. Anyway, just this sort of little voice of doubt about gender, about these worldly states. So, Mara sees that she's out here in the forest meditating, trying. Thinks, okay, she's aiming for the state of peace, the state of arahantship. He says, oh, it's too hard, too challenging. It's not possible for you. Women only have, well, Bhante Sujata says 2-inch wisdom. It's literally like 2-finger wisdom. And there's a lot of different explanations in the commentaries about what does this mean. Some say it's like, the women use their 2 fingers to spin thread, and that's their wisdom. They know how the wisdom of spinning thread, but nothing else. Or they use their 2 fingers to pinch the rice to see if it's cooked. And that's the women's wisdom. They know how to know if the rice is cooked. These are different commentarial explanations that there are for this. Bhante Sujata's idea is that it's just like 2 fingers widths. So just this much. This much is how much wisdom women have. So they got a little bit, but not too much. And yeah, so 2 fingers breadths. Yeah. All right. Richard, you have a theory of what this means. Yes? Welcome.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. It's like your hand, right? You only have 2 fingers to grasp things. You can't grasp them as well. As strongly. You know what I mean? You can't pick up as big a weight, but with 4 fingers, you can pick up.
Which one's better? That one?
So it's saying that harder for women to grasp because they don't have as much wisdom to start with. So I'm not agreeing. That's fine. But
Uh-huh.
anyway, thank you, Professor.
Yeah. Anyway, it's clearly, not thinking women have very much wisdom, whatever that means. They're limited. He's saying they're limited, so you can only go so far. You can only do so much. It's not possible. This is Mara speaking. So the nun Soma thought, who's speaking this verse? A human or a non-human? And she thought, oh, this is Mara the wicked, wanting to make me feel fear, terror, and goosebumps, wanting to make me fall away from immersion, from samadhi, from my meditation. So she knowing that this was Mara the wicked, she replied to him in verse. What difference does womanhood make when the mind is serene and knowledge is present and you rightly discern the Dhamma? Surely someone who might think, I am a woman, or I am a man, or I am anything at all, is fit for Mara to address. So, and once again she's told him off. Mara the wicked, thinking the nun Soma knows me, miserable and sad, vanished right there. I always feel a little sorry for Mara with these stories. Poor Mara. Miserable and sad. Anyway, this is such a strong statement. What does it matter? What difference does womanhood make when the mind is serene and knowledge is present, as you rightly discern the Dhamma? Again, she's speaking for herself. Her mind is serene. She has the knowledge. She doesn't need to rely on anybody else. Her wisdom is And so she knows for herself it's possible. And this was the thing, there was, in the story of the founding of the Bhikkhuni Sangha, there's this story that at first the Buddha was sort of resisting founding the Bhikkhuni order, that he already had a Bhikkhu Sangha, and he had to be convinced to have a Bhikkhuni Sangha in one of the stories. In another story, it says that from the very beginning he said he wouldn't pass away until he had one. So, depends which text you're reading. But in one story, it says that he was sort of reluctant to start a Bhikkhuni Sangha. But the thing that convinced him was the Venerable Ananda asked him, Venerable Sir, if a woman practices in this way, can she also attain awakening? Can she become an arahant? And he says, oh yes, of course. Of course she can. There's no difference. And so we have him on record there saying there's no difference in wisdom, in ability to attain awakening between men and women. There's only, worldly differences, which are not irrelevant. They affect our lives in so many ways, but in terms of the possibility of escape, it really doesn't matter. There's no difference in the capability. So then she goes on, surely someone who might think, I am a woman, or I am a man, or I am anything at all, is fit for Mara to address. So that's a pretty deep statement about non-self. I don't know. Do you have any comment on this?
It feels like, again, how she's connected with non-self, and everything that she's speaking, be it for the womanhood or for answering the Mara, comes from a confidence, comes from a deep clarity. She's not doubting her own potential or her any way, like, oh, I don't have enough parami, I'm woman, or such voices that oftentimes might be Mara's voices but are very overpowering. So that confidence feels like coming from, again, seeing the heart of non-self, where she's not identifying in any way and kind of is free from this gender complexity and thus can just separate out and say, abiding in non-self.
Right, yeah. Any other comments here? Anyone online like to share anything? Come in with anything? Satina, yes?
No.
Right there, Daniel?
I was curious about the translation for knowledge, because in the last one it talked about wisdom.
Okay. The question was about the translation for knowledge, because in the last one it talked about wisdom. So knowledge here is jnana. And in the last one, I don't know, were we on? In the last one, the two-fingered wisdom. Let's see, what was the two-fingered wisdom?
Dve Mongali Panya.
Yeah, so that one was panya. Panya is wisdom. So yeah, Mara isn't asking her about knowledge, but he asks about panya, but she replies about jnana. Those are they're closely related. The nya in both of them is the same root. It's this nya, panya, and jnana. That nya is sort of like the root that means knowing, knowledge. It's actually the same as the root for the English word know. They're related on that deep level, like knowledge. Knowing. So yeah, let's see. Do I have anything interesting to say about the difference between jnana and panya? Yeah, jnana is like something that has been gained and seen. It's like something you know, as opposed to panya, which is like more like the faculty to learn something or to understand something. Yeah. So she's got knowledge. She needed Panya to get it, probably. And she's got both. She's discerning the Dhamma. She's seeing it clearly. She knows it. And her knowledge is that she is not fundamentally a woman or a man or anything at all. She's just sort of there's a collection of processes going on. And she's not to be found in it. There's nothing to cling to there, nothing to attach to there. It's just, as soon as you're attaching to any of that, it says then somebody who's thinking, I am a woman, I am a man, is fit for Mara to address. So Mara can talk to somebody and get them if they're thinking, if they're identifying with anything at all. If they're identifying, that's where Mara gets in. Mara can address you because there's something there that's attached and clung to. There's a there. And that's when Mara can speak to you, or he can get an edge, or he can make you afraid, because that's the thing that can die, that thing. All right, but she knows better. Any other comments here? Oh, I see a couple here, yes?
If she falling enlightenment, she don't have greed and don't have hatred and don't have delusion anymore. That's why the Mara cannot, she not greed to the Mara anymore, because if the falling enlightenment is the Kosala or Akosala Chitta don't have anymore, that change to Kiriya, I don't know in English, and that's why this Chitta have very poor, very, how we say, very good, don't have, if we don't have, not yet enlightened, don't have this Chitta, that's why it's very,
All right, well, I think we're getting in.
cling anymore to all of it.
Yes, we're getting into Abhidhamma here a little bit. I'm not sure I can fully repeat what you're saying, but I get your idea, though. Yeah.
That's why we don't have this to the mind.
Yeah. So you're saying that if she is fully enlightened, then she is free of greed and hatred, and she doesn't have the kind of mind, the kind of citta anymore that Mara could speak to. But I didn't hear what were the kinds that you were.
No delusion, so pure, so it's
Yeah.
not fabricating, or it's not falling into kriya, you said, right? Not doing anything, taking that information and processing and falling in.
Mm-hmm.
The chitta just only is like us, but it's no different heart. Yeah.
Come closer so they can hear you.
I'm swapping seats now.
No, come close. And meanwhile, Daniel, you also had something to say?
Oh, I was just saying the two suttas and many others often end with Mara saying, so and so knows me, and then vanishing. And I always saw it. I think that's a really important point, is that once you see Mara clearly, that's when Mara vanishes.
Yeah, so once you see Mara clearly, that's when he vanishes. The suttas often say, so-and-so knows me, and he just goes. So yeah, that is an important point. It is like that's all it really takes to defeat Mara, overcome him. When he confronts you, is just know and be able to say clearly. All right. Shall we move on to another sutta? All right. Next one, Kisa Gotami. So, who knows the story of Kisa Gotami before we start? She has a sad story. Well, actually, there's a couple different stories attached to her in different places in the suttas, but the one that's best known associated with her name is the one where her child died, her baby. She was a young mother and living in a unfriendly family of her husband, and the baby's born, and then it had been difficult before, but then the first son is born, and then everything's great, and then the baby dies, and she goes mad with grief. She goes around carrying the dead baby, saying, "Please, please give me medicine," like asking everybody, "Please, please give me medicine for my son," and won't let go, won't acknowledge that he's already died. And the story goes that she goes to the Buddha eventually and says, "Please, please give me medicine for my son." And he tells her, "Well, okay, there's a very easy medicine you can make. All I need is a little bit of mustard seed," which is a very, very common in Indian cooking. Every house would have it. He says, "All I need is a little bit of mustard seed from a house where no one has ever died." And so she goes around throughout the village saying, "Please, please give me some mustard seed," at each house. And they say, "Oh, sure, I can give you some mustard seed." And she says, wait, first, has anyone ever died in this house?" And they say, "Well, yes, my grandmother, yes, they go through the list of who has passed away in that house. And she can't find any house where that's not so, any family where that's not so. And at the end of the day, she goes back to the Buddha, and she's ready to bury her son, to move on, and to become a bhikkhuni. She ordains. She becomes a bhikkhuni. And here we find her in this sutta. This is after all of that. She's already ordained. That's her backstory. And here she is at Sawati. She robes up in the morning, taking her bowl and robe, enters Sawati for alms. After the meal, on her return from alms round, she goes to the dark forest for the day's meditation, plunged deep into it and sat at the root of a tree to meditate. Then Mara the wicked came, wanting to make her feel fear, terror, and goosebumps, wanting to make her fall away from immersion. And he asks her, "Why do you sit alone and cry, as if your children have died? You've come to the woods all alone. Are you looking for a man?" It's actually kind of odd. Bhante Sujato has a note here, says, "Mara evidently believes that the grieving mother's first priority is to seek a lover in a dark forest." Which I agree is kind of an odd thing to do if you're a grieving mother. That's probably not your first step. So Mara might be a little confused about some things. But but anyway, but again, if we think of this in sort of a psychological sense, it's like if somebody has died and it's like a long time ago, and then it can be like, why are you sitting alone and crying? There can be judgment about that, either internal or external, or anytime we feel sorry, we feel sad, there's this sense of there can be a sense of judgment, like, why are you just sitting and crying? Why don't you do something else, something better? I don't know. Anyway, she thinks, who's speaking this verse, a human or a non-human? Oh, this is Mara the wicked, wanting to make me feel fear, terror, and goosebumps, wanting to make me fall away from immersion. She replies to him in verse, "I've got over the death of children, and I'm finished with men. I don't grieve or lament. I'm not afraid of you, sir. Relishing is banished in every respect." Relishing is Bhante Sujata's translation for nandi, which is pleasure, enjoyment, delight. Relishing is banished in every respect, and the mass of darkness is shattered. I've defeated the army of death, and live without defilements. So she's no longer delighting in the kinds of things that one delights in a life. the kinds of things that Mara can latch onto and take away from you. She's not delighting in that anymore. The mass of darkness is shattered. She's defeated the army of death and is living free from all defilements. So, again, this is like a real human situation. All of these things that, they're real things of the human heart, fears and things about desire and about identity and about grief. These are real things that really do get into our hearts, and that these bhikkhunis are facing, have faced. And then they are giving us an example of like how to live in a different way. What would it be to be able to encounter these things and respond in such a way of freedom and strength.
This time I was impressed by how Mara, this is like even today's time, very common way of Mara entering, because as soon as we find any obstacle or anything to grieve upon or be sad about or be depressed about or connect back, oh, this did not went well, and when we have not yet overcome it, the general thought that come up, oh, I should get into a relationship. I just need a new way of living life. I just need a better person to spend time with, some kind of thing. So maybe it was coming from that context. And appreciating how wisely Venerable Gotami, Isa Gotami in this case, overcome and saw that, oh, coming out of suffering is not going into another suffering, but it's just breaking it right there.
Yeah. Thank you.
Announcing, I don't grieve or lament, and I'm not afraid of you. It's a big voice, because oftentimes we hold on to any relationship also out of fear. Be it anyway, we don't want to be alone, or for instance, as you said, Venerable, about death, Mara. Dying alone is also scary sometimes. So getting into suffering comes up more strongly.
Do you want to say?
I just want to speak. Fully enlightenment don't have afraid of anything, because it's just only anagami in all the, we say, the dosa or the hatred is cut off, and there's not we say not come back or not return. Non-return, yes. That's if go something or other place, or even we cut or we want to how to make die, they don't have fear, because this chitta is all cut down. That's why for the enlightenment they don't fear from anything. It's like it's more as Mara, 100 Mara or more than this come, she's not fear of anything, because don't have it. Like if we plant in the grass, we have put out all outside, and then it's not coming again, and that's why that feeling, that fear feeling, that not coming. But all we say pathogena or storm and enter, and Sakadagami still have this chitta, but it's not like pathogena. It's a little bit how we say, still have fear, but not all cut off. Yes, that's why she arahant or arahant theory does not fear from anything. Yes. And they cut all delusion. That's why they said all darkness, the avijja, the ignorance, it was all cut out, and the jnana, that is, we can say vicca, or the, yes, or we can say the wisdom that's coming. We say the darkness are gone, and then we just come out like before it's dark, and when we turn on the lights, and then darkness go off, and then the lights come up. Yeah, that's why.
Thank you, wonderful. Okay. All right. Shall we do one more? I don't think we're going to get through all 10, but we can keep going here. All
What
right.
time is it though?
It's 2:09. We have 20 minutes left. And we're only up to number 4. So, all right. Vijaya. She is also at Sawati, and on Vijaya. She's living the same way as the others. So we can sort of imagine them all living together and think, oh, wouldn't we like to be there? To live with this community of Arahant Terries and go for our alms round and then go sit in the dark forest for the afternoon. Sort of a beautiful vision. Anyway, there she is in the dark forest, at the root of a tree for the day's meditation. And Mara, the wicked, wanting to make the nun Vijaya feel fear, terror, and goosebumps, wanting to make her fall away from immersion, went up to her and addressed her in verse. You're so young and beautiful. And I'm a youth in my prime. Come, my lady, let us enjoy the music of a 5-piece band. So, I don't know about Mara's pickup strategy here, but he's trying though. Anyway, so yeah, Mara's being a little bit creepy, coming up in the woods and asking this. However, it is something that, if you're sitting alone and you're thinking, oh, here I am at this bumpy root of a tree, and there's mosquitoes, and there's, it's too hot or it's too cold, and did I get what I wanted for my alms meal, and, this is so boring, why am I doing this, right? The mind can get all these sorts of small irritations and think, wouldn't it be better? I'm young and beautiful, find some nice guy and go enjoy some music, have a nice time. Well, doesn't that sound better than this? Again, this is a common thing that people might think in meditation. They get fixated on, your favorite food or your favorite TV show or something. Anyone who's been on a long retreat, I'm sure you have examples of things your mind got fixated on that were like, along the lines of this.
There was one nun who was sharing her experience that on a long retreat, in the middle of the retreat time, there were the thoughts coming up. Oh, she had a perfect monastery built in her head. This is how it should be. So even monastics are not really free from it oftentimes.
Yeah, I had one retreat where I drew the whole build-out plan for our monastery.
Ah.
I was doing a lot of meditating, but I was also doing a lot of drawing the idealized version of Dhammadrini Monastery on paper. Then when I got back, I was at the forest at that time, and when I got back here and actually saw the property, it's like, oh, we need a larger property. We cannot fit everything that I was imagining. Anyway. Question, Mara can take on a solid body. It sort of seems like that in the texts. It seems like he can take on various forms. And he's sort of a trickster. He takes the image of different kinds of things and solid body. I'm trying to think, are there examples where he actually touches things, or is he just kind of there whispering in your ear? I'm not sure. But
I kind of feel like it's an influencing energy, Mara.
yeah.
And then we can get, if we are into its trap, then we can hold on to anything as we see outside.
Mm-hmm.
Even a stupid thing can look, oh, so beautiful, so pretty, so attractive. And after a while, oh, I was stuck in that. There are both ways.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. So, anyway, in the stories, he does seem to show up as like a person, not just a disembodied voice or something. He's a person, and he interacts with the world in these stories. So, make of that what you will. Yes, Richard. Where are you, Richard?
Thank you. I'm not sure how he's getting music 5 piece band.
Okay, we have a note.
But I think it's something to do with 5 pieces. Music of the 5 senses.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Enjoying each other's.
Right.
So, but I quickly at that and
Okay. Panchangikena.
even though it is commonly, translated that way, but it's
Yeah. Okay. So it's Turiyena. So that's instrumental music.
yeah.
And Panchangikena means with 5 parts. So, yeah, it doesn't say what the 5 parts are. Certainly, the five senses could be that kind of music. You say the chords of sensual pleasure, the music of sensual pleasure of all the different senses. Sure, I like that. Anyway, apparently it's the commentary that says it's a particular kind of musical style they had, with a 1-skinned and 2-skinned drum, a stringed instrument, a wind instrument, and metal percussion. Anyway, that's what the commentary says. Who knows? But yeah, I like that idea that it's not just music. I think this is definitely like representative of all the kinds of little pleasures like that through all the senses. Anyway, this is Mara's pitch. So what does she say? Once again, she has the thought, who is this? Who's saying this? Where is this thought coming from? She recognizes that it's Mara, and she replies to him in verse. Sights, sounds, tastes, smells, and touches so delightful, I hand them right back to you, Mara, for I have no use for them. So yeah, this sort of matches Richard's idea that it's these 5 senses, 5-piece band. She hands them right back. I have no use for them. This body is foul, decaying and frail. I'm horrified and repelled by it, and I've eradicated sensual craving. There are beings in the realm of luminous form, and others stuck in the formless. I've destroyed the darkness regarding all such peaceful attainments. So this is a very strong statement also. The part about the body being foul, this is strong to acknowledge. There can be very unhealthy ways to consider one's own body to be foul. And, she's not, I don't think we're encouraging being self-destructive or self-hating or anything about the body. But just to recognize its downsides. It's decaying and frail. It's not the thing of perfect beauty and happiness. It's not something to be made our master, that we spend all our time just taking care of it. Here she goes on, though. It's often we see statements about the body being so horrible, but she's actually going even beyond that, not only the body. She says even beings in the realm of luminous form, or being stuck in the formless, these are very high realms of existence where there's not a foul, decaying body. There's just sort of beautiful light energy of life, and there are beings in these realms of great purity and brightness. But she says, she describes them as stuck. Let's see, what is this word? Standing in the formless. Rupa is formless. Tai, standing there, established there. So that's interesting, because like standing is a form. Ta is like stand, established, strong. It's often used in a positive sense, but here it's like being established in the formless. It's an interesting word. Anyway, she says that even those kinds of states of being, she has destroyed the darkness regarding those peaceful attainments. She's not only not stuck in this body, she's gone beyond all of these states of existence entirely. Comments on this one?
I think she said that she destroy all the darkness. Then she understand the Dhamma eye open. She see all the 31 existence, or we say three power. So all is, how we say that, that is the place for a person? No. Like to
Pleasant.
yes, patient. This all three power that is patient, and that's why if she for enlightenment, then she go out from samsara, not clinging to all this uh, five sense. We say five senses. Yes, that's her knowledge just coming, because if we not enlightenment, we still have ignorance. That's why we don't understand, and we have craving something on all five sense, or craving in power, or arupa, or we say rupa or arupa, or rupa or formless. That's why we must practicing and to see all this, and let's go all our craving, all our five senses, craving senses, and then if we not let's go all this, then we still have in samsara, and in not going out from this samsara, because the order to, like we go, if we not let our feet from this drive, this three power, or three we can, yes, three power, then we can not go to the next step, that is the step of the Lokotara Dhamma, or we say that to enlightenment. That's why we still have the craving of all these senses, the five senses, or all our clinging to our sense. That's why must practicing to see that, and then our jnana, or our wisdom, we see all the Dhamma and not clinging in all anything anymore. Yes, then it's the darkness, all the darkness will destroy with our jnana, or with the wisdom.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay.
I
Yes.
also like here how earlier she mentions about oftentimes being young and beautiful comes up with the perfect tune of sight, sound, taste, tactile sensation, and all the senses working perfectly fine. But as slowly we age or the decaying happens, how we start looking old, our senses starts getting hindered, needs support. It's not pleasant again. It's very painful. And how she kind of sees it with her wisdom and is separated. No delight there. Hand it back right to you, and not indulging in it. I'm horrified and repelled by it. I've eradicated sensual pleasures. Like it's coming from some practice that feels like she's still doing and cultivating despite being free from such voices that are obstructing and entangling. See, Richard raised hands.
Yes, Richard. Comment.
Thank you. This thing about this body is finite, praying and frail. There's ways to translate some of those words. Body's going to fall apart and decay. It's that the body is going out like a dead body laying, decomposing. So in the Buddhist teaching, we're looking at what's going to happen to this body. We're caring so much about kind of dying rot. So anyway, may not mean exactly that everyone's body is foul. It's like what's going to happen. I hope so. Anyways, thank you for listening.
Sadhu.
Daniel also had something to share.
Oh, I was just thinking about the different ways that Mara had tempted them, and I was thinking about, she had this kind of negative portrayal of the body in response to the fact that he was trying to say, "You're so beautiful, look what you could do with your beauty." And then I was thinking, in the sutta before, he was kind of attacking her on the basis of your failure as a mother, your failure as a wife, right? Looking for a man, what happened to your kid? And I was just kind of thinking about kind of all these voices of sexism, right, that are out there, and almost on one hand trying to humiliate you for being a woman, and then on this hand trying to tell you, oh, you could be even more, and kind of how they repel those things.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, that's a really interesting comment from Daniel. He's saying, Mara approaching these women in different ways. Sort of, this one he's saying, "Oh, you're so young and beautiful," and the last one he's sort of reproaching her for her failure as a wife and mother, and just sort of the different ways that these sexism is coming through here, kind of attacking them with that in just different ways, different modes, so he's trying to get his edge. He's trying to find for that person what is the thing, where can he hook them. He's looking for that hook,
Soft spot.
the soft spot
Loophole.
for each of them.
Their insecurity.
Yeah, finding their insecurity, finding the place. I think there's a metaphor in the suttas of the, like Mara as a crow or something trying to attack a rock, or something with a shell. Anyway, it's closed, right? If he attacks something that has a soft belly, can get right into it. But it's like trying to break open a rock. That's how it is for when Mara tries to attack the Buddha, which we have stories of Mara confronting the Buddha also, and he responds in similar ways. And there's no opening, there's no edge, no way for him to get in anymore. And whereas most of us still do have those openings, those places where someone can kind of snag and still cause some hurt, still keep you attached in some way. But this is the inspiring thing, is that these women were able to go beyond that, able to become, no longer vulnerable to that. Anyway, we're coming to our last few minutes. I want to just see if anyone, I think we'll stop here. We're only about halfway through the Samyutta, but I think this gets us a good flavor. Although I do recommend going and reading it. They're all interesting, and actually the last two of them are especially deep and powerful. They're really worth reading. But I think we could stop here. But I want to see if there are any last comments, or I don't know. Brahmavara, do you have anything to share with us briefly for our closing here?
I think I would also be joining us after for the other part.
Thank you. I'm aware there's an but online. So briefly, big gratitude for the sharing. And it's fascinating to see the different ways Mara tries to grab at. And the clarity of the bhikkhuni response is inspiring. May we have the same clarity and strength.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yes. So yes, may we walk in their footsteps. That's our theme. Is like let's follow them towards this place of great clarity and strength, as long as it takes, and using them as our great inspiring example towards that. Okay, Richard, final comment.
Thank you, Aya. That saying where is appeared on the spot right there. If you look at the Pali, it can also mean that he was found out spot right there. But Bhikkhuni, it's not that he just kind of, oh well, I can't take it or I'll leave. Use it in this other way. It's like Bhikkhuni found him out, okay, and pointed out that all his faults, his teachings and stuff. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time talking. Sound feedback, so I'm hearing some sound myself. So I might be sounding really strange on your end.
Sounds okay.
Anyway, thank you very much.
All right. Thank you very much, Richard. And thank you everyone for joining us for this International Bhikkhuni Day special Sutta study for our inspiration from these great Arahant Teris. May we follow them. May we be like them. May we have that same peace and liberation and strength and courage to roar our own lion's roar by following in their footsteps. So, with that, we can close by paying our respects to the Buddha and the Dhamma and the Sangha, including those Arahant Teris in the Sangha. Very much. Arahant Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhaṃ Bhagavaṃ Abhivademi Suwakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammaṃ Namasami Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Saṅgho Saṅghāṃ Namami. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your patient listening.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
All right, and welcome to join us online Tuesday evening if you want to learn more about bhikkhunis, and we'll see you next week. Have a good week.
Thank you.